Undersheriff Pat Ivey.
Going on. Everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, good morning. I'm Undersheriff Pat Ivey. I am saddened this morning to report that the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office Integrity Unit has come to a point in investigation where we have to make an arrest on a JSO correctional officer. The correctional officer's name is Clarence Bernard Thomas Jr. Mr. Thomas has been employed as a correctional officer for just shy of 4.5 years. Mr. Thomas has been charged with 1 count of unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. The arrest came as a result of 24-year-old Mr. Thomas having sexual relations with a 17-year-old victim whom he met while being an assistant coach for the West Side High School football team. Mr. Thomas's coaching responsibilities were outside of and not related to his employment with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. The initial allegation of these criminal acts were discovered during an investigation by the Duval County School Board Police Department's Equity and Inclusion Unit, which would be similar to our Internal Affairs Unit. The allegations were then forwarded to our Integrity Unit and investigated. And our Integrity Unit is who looks into allegations of criminal misconduct by our employees. The victim gave a sworn statement yesterday to the State Attorney's Office, and an arrest warrant was obtained. Mr. Thomas, with the assistance of counsel, was arrested, turned himself in this morning, arrested, and booked into the jail, and he has since resigned as a correctional officer with JSO, and I will take questions.
Can you tell us about the sex? Did it occur in the school? Can you tell us about where
the details of the case? I know that a sworn statement was taken yesterday, but some of those details are probably not of the specific sworn statement or subject to still being looked at. I wouldn't want to comment on exactly where the incidents took place. There were multiple, though.
Samantha Manning with Action News. Do you know how long the sexual activity had been going on, the time frame?
Probably time range of November of last year till probably June of this year. May, June.
Are there other kids who are having sex with this man? Is there other investigations going on?
This investigation lists 1 victim and 1 suspect. This specific one that I'm speaking of. So have nothing to add about any other victims at this point.
In terms of this investigation, there are 2 other within the same school where Mr. Thomas.
Can you speak up a little bit?
I'm sorry, Raymond Thompson with the Times Union. There were 2 other employees within Duval County schools within that school who were also alleged to have had relations with students. Are you all investigating that? Have there been any developments in those 2 cases?
I won't comment on developments because that would actually be talking about specifics of the case. I can say no other arrests have been made at this point. I know that all the allegations, and I believe a lot of the media outlets did some coverage on these allegations involving this school and these incidents on a previous date. But yes, they're still being looked at, but no other arrests have been made.
You mentioned that it's sad and unfortunate that he's a JSO officer. Just how tough is that and how disappointed are you in someone who's supposed to uphold the law?
You got to understand he's not a policeman, but he still takes an oath. He's an employee of the sheriff's office, and he should have a certain level of integrity. This is words can't describe it. If you've lived this job long enough, which I have for over 20 years, you're sad because this is a reality that this does happen. You just wish it would. So.
Can you give people an idea of what duties a correctional officer typically has?
There's a lot. Basically, you got to understand they've got to care. They have care, custody, and control of all of those inmates. Meaning that could be from food services to medical services to transporting to the hospital. Then they have visitation rights, making sure that they're getting all their basic needs met. That is a monumental task.
When he first goes, is this victim a male or a female?
The victim is a female.
Did she work with the football team? You said football. I think football. I think male. So
she had an affiliation to the school.
Okay.
but she's, you gotta remember, she is a victim of a crime where there are certain exceptions that come into play here, and she's a minor.
So he was a football coach, but she wasn't really with the football team. She was just a student in the school.
I won't even comment on that. I'll just say she had an affiliation to the school.
Yeah, I'm sorry if you said this before, but Mr. Thomas was with JSO for how long?
4.5 years, just shy, actually about 4 years and 3 or 4 months.
And what was the crack in the case?
Sir?
What was the break in the case?
The break in the case is you had a statement given by the victim that was deemed to be credible, and it was vetted through the state attorney's office through a sworn statement.
We had reported that Thomas had admitted, at least to the school district at the time, about having sexual activity. Has he done the same with law enforcement? Has he confessed to the crime?
I believe he invoked his right. Does everybody understand what that means?
No.
He invoked his right to remain silent.
Okay.
No, but I have one more question on another issue, obviously. Any update on the Riverside murder?
Not that I'm prepared to give at this time. So we're working through what we get. We have been receiving some information from the community from a couple different sources. Some of it, I'm encouraged by that outreach from the community, but nothing that I can comment here on today with specifics.
I do have one more question about Mr. Thomas. Did he
We'll
have?
do you and you, and that's it.
I'm sorry. Did he have any previous disciplinary hearing?
You will be provided a copy of his concise internal history.
Okay.
Yes.
We had gotten some questions about why it took so long for the Amber Alert to be issued. It looked about 4 hours from the time JSO arrived on the scene to when the Amber Alert was actually issued. Do you know why it took so long?
No, I'm not aware. I know that it took some time, but I am not aware of why at this point. We're still, our first and foremost responsibility right now is that investigation. So a detail of why something didn't occur at a certain time point, that'll be something that will be looked at when we get to that point, knowing that the priorities are at that scene right now.
So it will be investigated down the line.
Investigated, look, it will be looked into. Does it call for an actual investigation? We'll see. But if it does, absolutely. Thank you.